All is well. How this mindset shift changes everything. Written by Ronnie Rowland. Narrated by Oliver Edwards. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. What if the peace you've been searching for isn't out there but already within you, waiting for you to notice it? Life rarely offers stillness. It rushes forward, demanding our attention with its endless to-do lists, responsibilities, and unexpected twists. We spend our days chasing goals, solving problems, and bracing ourselves for the next wave of uncertainty. Amid this storm, the idea that all is well can feel naive or even impossible. How can everything be well when chaos, pain, and loss seem to shadow us at every turn? And yet, beneath the noise of life, there is a whisper, a quiet truth that invites us to see beyond the surface. All is well. These three words are not a denial of life's difficulties, but a reminder of its hidden order. They are not blind optimism, but grounded wisdom, offering a way to navigate life with courage, resilience, and grace. This book is not a shortcut to happiness or a promise of perpetual ease. Instead, it is an invitation, a chance to reframe how you see life's uncertainties, to embrace the messy beauty of being human, and to trust that even in chaos, there is balance. Even in loss, there is growth. Through stories of transformation, timeless philosophical insights, and practical tools, All is Well, a philosophical journey to inner peace, will guide you to uncover the clarity and strength that already reside within you. Together, we'll explore how surrendering to life's rhythm, not fighting against it, opens the door to deeper freedom and fulfillment. This journey isn't about changing life's circumstances. It's about changing how you live through them. It's about learning to see the ocean of your life not as something to conquer, but as something to flow with. And in that flow, you'll discover the profound truth that even in the storm, there is peace. Even in the unknown, there is trust. So, I invite you to pause, breathe, and begin this journey with an open heart and an open mind. Let the pages ahead serve as a guide, not to perfection, but to presence, not to certainty, but to acceptance. Let this book remind you that all is well, not because life is without struggle, but because life, in all its complexity, is unfolding exactly as it should. Your journey begins here. Lean in, listen closely, and let the whisper of all is well transform the way you see the world and yourself. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Control. What if surrendering to life's chaos is the key to clarity? Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, its waves moving in unpredictable patterns. You stretch out your hands, commanding the water to obey. But the sea doesn't flinch. The illusion that you might control its rhythm dissolves with each crashing wave. This is life, a force far beyond our grasp, yet deeply intertwined with our choices. For centuries, humanity has sought control over nature, others, and even the future. We erect walls to shield ourselves from uncertainty, yet those walls are paper thin when the storm comes. Philosophers, like the Stoics, remind us that control is a fleeting concept. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet how often do we ignore this wisdom, clinging to the illusion of mastery? Control feels like safety. From childhood, we're taught to plan ahead and prepare for the worst. These mantras create the illusion that foresight equates to mastery. But life rarely honors our blueprints. A sudden illness, a job loss, or an unexpected heartbreak shatters our carefully laid plans. In those moments, we don't just grieve the event, we mourn the loss of control we thought we had. Here's the paradox. The more we try to control life, the more out of control we feel. Psychologists call this the control paradox. The tighter our grip, the more fragile we become. Why? Because life isn't a machine. It's an ocean, fluid and unpredictable. The question is not how to master the waves, but how to ride them. Consider the story of Sarah, a high-achieving lawyer whose life was meticulously organized. Every hour of her day was planned, from client meetings to gym sessions. But one morning, an unexpected phone call unraveled it all. Her mother had fallen critically ill, and Sarah was thrust into a world of hospital visits, sleepless nights, and uncertainty. At first, she resisted, trying to juggle work and caregiving. She demanded answers from doctors, scheduled treatments obsessively, and tried to fix what was beyond her control. But the more she fought, the more exhausted she became. One evening, sitting beside her mother's hospital bed, Sarah had a revelation. Control was an illusion. She couldn't dictate the outcome of her mother's illness. All she could do was be present. Sarah's surrender didn't mean giving up. It meant letting go of the illusion that she could control the uncontrollable. In that surrender, she found clarity. Her energy shifted from fixing the situation to simply being there, fully present. And in that presence, she discovered peace, not in the absence of chaos, but within it. Surrender often feels counterintuitive, especially in a culture that glorifies control. We equate surrender with weakness, imagining it as waving a white flag. But surrender is not passive. It's active acceptance. It's acknowledging reality without resistance, creating space for clarity and resilience. Think of a river flowing around a rock. The water doesn't fight the obstacle. It flows around it, adapting to its presence. This is the essence of surrender, not giving up, but flowing with what is. So, how do we embrace the art of surrender? It begins with a simple question. What am I truly in control of? The answer is often startlingly small. You can control your actions, your attitude, and your perspective, but not much else. This realization is liberating, not limiting. When you stop fighting the uncontrollable, you free yourself to focus on what matters. Try this practice. The next time life feels chaotic, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Visualize the waves of the ocean, reminding yourself that your role is not to command them, but to navigate them with grace. What if surrendering to life's chaos is the key to clarity? The answer lies in the transformative power of letting go. Surrender is not defeat. It's liberation. It frees you from the burden of controlling the uncontrollable and allows you to engage with life as it is, not as you wish it to be. The illusion of control may comfort us temporarily, but true peace lies in embracing life's unpredictability. Like the ocean, life will always move in waves, sometimes calm, sometimes tumultuous. Your task is not to still the water, but to learn to ride it, trusting that all is well, even in the storm. Chapter 2. The Hidden Order in Chaos. Chaos. The word alone stirs unease, conjuring images of scattered puzzle pieces, broken plans, and spiraling uncertainty. Yet, within the whirlwind, there is often a deeper pattern waiting to be revealed, if only we pause to see it. In the natural world, chaos isn't random. Fractals, like the veins of a leaf or the spirals of a seashell, follow mathematical patterns. The universe, seemingly boundless and unpredictable, is governed by precise laws. Could it be that our lives, too, contain a hidden order, even in their most tumultuous moments? This question has intrigued thinkers for centuries. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche famously wrote, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." But how do we find that dancing star amidst the storm? Consider the story of Alex, a once thriving entrepreneur who lost everything in a market crash. Overnight, his life was upended. Bank accounts emptied, partnerships dissolved, dreams shattered. For months, Alex wrestled with despair, convinced his life had fallen into irreparable chaos. One quiet evening, as Alex sifted through the remnants of his once thriving life, his hands fell upon an old, forgotten journal. Its pages, weathered and filled with ideas for a sustainable business model, spoke of a time when his dreams were untainted by urgency or greed. Back then, he had dismissed those plans as impractical, choosing instead the allure of quick profits. But as he read them now, something shifted. What once felt like a whimsical exercise suddenly appeared as a carefully drawn map, waiting for him to follow. With nothing left to lose, Alex began building a new venture based on those discarded ideas. This time he focused not on immediate success, but on creating lasting value. Over the next 5 years, his company flourished, becoming a pioneer in sustainable technology. Reflecting on his journey, Alex realized the market crash, painful as it was, had cleared the path for his true calling. Was the crash random chaos? Or was it the universe nudging him toward a hidden order he couldn't yet perceive? The concept of the butterfly effect in chaos theory suggests that small, seemingly insignificant actions can lead to monumental outcomes. A butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil might set off a chain reaction, influencing weather patterns across the globe. Our lives, too, are a web of interconnected events. A missed flight leads to an unexpected conversation with a stranger who becomes a lifelong friend. A failed relationship teaches you the boundaries necessary for a healthier partnership. The chaos of one moment plants the seeds of growth in another. But recognizing this order requires a shift in perspective. When life feels chaotic, our instinct is to zoom in on the mess. Yet, like a painting viewed too closely, chaos can appear random. It's only when we step back that the broader picture comes into focus. How often do we resist chaos instead of exploring it? The next time you find yourself in the midst of disorder, ask, what if this is part of a larger plan? This question doesn't demand immediate answers. It invites curiosity and openness. Chaos is not a question of, why me? But, what's next? Practical steps to uncover the pattern. 1. Zoom out. In moments of chaos, pause and consider the bigger picture. What opportunities or lessons might this situation be presenting? 2. Trust the process. Write down instances in your life where initial chaos led to unexpected clarity. This exercise strengthens your belief in hidden order. 3. Take small steps. Chaos can feel overwhelming, but forward motion, even small steps, creates momentum. Focus on what you can do today to navigate the uncertainty. Is there truly a pattern in life's most chaotic moments? The answer depends on your willingness to look beyond the surface. Chaos, when embraced, often reveals itself as transformation in disguise. Like Alex, you may not see the order in the moment. It may only emerge with time and reflection. But when it does, it becomes clear. Chaos was never the enemy. It was the catalyst. Well, life's most profound patterns often arise not in the calm, but in the storm. The universe, intricate and vast, mirrors the patterns of fractals, where beauty emerges from complexity. Your life, too, holds that potential. Even in the chaos, remember, All is well, not because life is perfect, but because it is unfolding exactly as it should. Chapter 3. The Lens of Gratitude. Imagine a traveler lost in a dense forest, surrounded by towering trees that block out the light. Panic sets in as they stumble over roots, their mind fixating on the darkness. But then, they notice a single ray of sunlight piercing through the canopy. It's small, almost insignificant compared to the surrounding gloom, yet it offers a sense of direction and hope. In life, gratitude often feels like an abstract virtue, nice in theory but difficult in practice, especially during hardship. Yet, gratitude is not merely an emotion. It's a lens. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, transforming even the darkest forests of despair into places of unexpected beauty. Consider Emma, a nurse who spent years caring for others until she herself was diagnosed with a chronic illness. At first, she spiraled into frustration and self-pity. "Why me?" she asked, over and over. Her career was on hold, her social life diminished, and her independence eroded. One day, a friend gave her a blank journal and encouraged her to write down 3 things she was grateful for each day. Emma scoffed at the idea. What could she possibly be grateful for in her condition? But, out of boredom, she began the practice. First, her entries were trivial. "The tea I had this morning was warm. The sun was shining outside." But as weeks passed, Emma noticed a shift. Her gratitude grew more profound. "I'm grateful for the nurse who stayed late to adjust my treatment. I'm grateful for the patience my partner shows me every day." Gratitude didn't cure Emma's illness, but it cured her perspective. It allowed her to see the small yet meaningful moments in her daily life. By focusing on what she still had, Emma reclaimed a sense of joy and purpose, even in the midst of her challenges. In this moment, we'll find a joy for life. Knowing the plates will fall, knowing it's okay, the plant is fine. Psychologists and neuroscientists have studied gratitude extensively, revealing its profound effects on mental health. Regular gratitude practices, such as journaling or expressing thanks, have been shown to reduce stress, improve sleep, and even enhance physical health. But why does gratitude work? The answer lies in how our brains are wired. Negative experiences trigger our survival instincts, making us focus on threats and shortcomings. Gratitude, on the other hand, activates the brain's reward system, releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. In essence, gratitude rewires the brain to notice the positive, even when life feels overwhelmingly negative. One of gratitude's greatest challenges, and gifts, is its ability to coexist with pain. It's easy to feel grateful when life is smooth. But what about during loss, failure, or grief? This is where gratitude becomes not just a feeling, but a choice. Think of Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning. In the depths of unimaginable suffering, Frankl found moments of gratitude, not for his circumstances, but for the small mercies within them. A kind word, a shared crust of bread, a fleeting moment of beauty in an otherwise bleak landscape. Gratitude doesn't deny pain, it reframes it. It says, yes, this hurts, but within this hurt, there is still something to cherish. How can you cultivate gratitude, especially during tough times? Here are 3 practical steps. 1. Start small. Begin by identifying one thing each day that you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a good meal, a kind gesture, or a moment of quiet. 2. Expand your focus. Gradually challenge yourself to find gratitude in unexpected places. Ask, what lesson or opportunity does this difficulty honor? 3. Express it. Share your gratitude with others. A heartfelt thank you can deepen connections and reinforce your appreciation. Gratitude is a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes, eventually becoming a natural part of how you view the world. Can gratitude reframe even the darkest experiences? The answer lies in its transformative lens. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it reveals the light that coexists with the darkness. It teaches us to appreciate the smallest joys, the hidden blessings, and the unexpected beauty in life's challenges. The forest may remain dense, but with gratitude, the ray of sunlight becomes your guide. It reminds you that even in the darkest times, all is well, not because life is free of hardship, but because life, in its fullness, offers something worth cherishing in every moment. Chapter 4. The Power of Presence. Why does the present hold more power than the past or future? Imagine holding a glass of water. It's half full and light in weight, yet the longer you hold it, the heavier it feels. The glass represents your thoughts, regrets from the past, worries about the future. They are manageable at first, but grow increasingly burdensome the longer you cling to them. What if you could simply put the glass down? This is the power of presence, the ability to release the weight of yesterday and the uncertainty of tomorrow, focusing instead on the fullness of the current moment. Life often feels like a race. We plan the next meeting, replay old arguments, or dream of a distant future where everything will finally fall into place. Yet, in this relentless pursuit of elsewhere, we miss the richness of here. Modern life exacerbates this tendency. Notifications buzz, schedules pile up, and endless scrolling distracts us from the now. The result? We live half-lives, physically present but mentally scattered. The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu warned, "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the present. Yet living in the present is easier said than done." How do we break free from the pull of past and future? Consider Daniel, a father of two and a workaholic. His days were a blur of meetings, deadlines, and obligations. Though physically present with his children, his mind often wandered to unanswered emails or looming projects. One evening, while half-heartedly listening to his son talk about his day, Daniel noticed the child's crestfallen expression. It struck him deeply. Though he was there, he wasn't really there. That moment became a turning point. Daniel resolved to change, starting small by implementing a daily presence practice. Each evening, he set aside 30 minutes of undistracted time with his family. No phones, no work. At first, it felt unnatural, even difficult. But over time, Daniel noticed something profound. His relationships deepened, and his selfishness turned to a nonsense drifter that brought a decisive change to Zach and later to his entire family. The human mind is wired to wander. Psychologists estimate that people spend nearly 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than the present. This default mode of the brain is both a gift and a curse. While it allows us to plan and imagine, it also keeps us tethered to unproductive loops of worry and regret. But there is a way to interrupt this cycle: mindfulness. Rooted in ancient practices and supported by modern neuroscience, mindfulness teaches us to anchor our attention in the here and now. Through simple techniques like focused breathing or sensory awareness, we can retrain the mind to engage with the present. How does living in the now transform your experience? Presence doesn't erase challenges, it reshapes how you meet them. Here's why it matters. 1. Clarity. When your mind is fully engaged in the present, decisions become clearer. Instead of reacting from fear or habit, you respond with intention. 2. Connection. Presence deepens relationships. When you truly listen, without distraction, You affirm others' worth and foster trust. 3. Calm. Anchoring in the moment reduces stress. The present is often less overwhelming than the projections your mind creates. Practices to cultivate presence. 1. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. When you feel scattered, pause and identify. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This simple exercise brings you back to the present through sensory awareness. 2. Single tasking. Choose one activity, eating, walking, or even washing dishes, and give it your full attention. Notice the textures, sounds, and sensations. 3. Breath awareness. Spend 5 minutes focusing on your breath. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly. Each breath is a reminder of life unfolding, moment by moment. Why does the present hold more power than the past or future? The answer lies in its immediacy. The past is unchangeable, the future unknowable, but the present is alive. It is the only place where action, connection, and transformation occur. The next time you find yourself lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries, remember the glass of water. Put it down. Trust that in the here and now, all is well. Not because life is free of challenges, but because the present moment holds everything you need. Chapter 5. Pain as a teacher. What lessons does pain reveal when we stop running from it? Pain is often seen as the enemy, a force to be avoided, silenced, or numbed at all costs. We build walls around it, bury it under distractions, or mask it with fleeting comforts. Yet, what if pain isn't here to harm us but to teach us? What if, by facing it, we unlock wisdom that can't be gunned any other way? Life's most profound lessons often come wrapped in suffering, but learning to embrace pain requires a shift in perspective, from seeing it as a curse to recognizing it as a guide. Pain exists in 2 forms, physical and emotional. Both demand attention, yet both are misunderstood. Physically, pain signals that something in the body needs care. Emotionally, it points to wounds we carry, often unseen. Ignoring either allows the pain to persist, while acknowledging it opens the door to healing. But why do we resist pain? The answer lies in survival instincts. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. Pain feels like a threat, triggering our fight or flight response. Yet, when we flee from pain, we deny ourselves the chance to understand it and to grow. Consider the story of Leah, a woman whose life seemed perfect on the surface. She had a successful career, a loving partner, and supportive friends. But beneath it all, she carried the unspoken pain of a fractured relationship with her father. Their estrangement, rooted in misunderstandings from years past, was a wound she refused to confront. For years, Leah avoided the subject. She threw herself into work, convinced that success would numb the ache. But the pain persisted, manifesting as anxiety and sleepless nights. One day, during a particularly difficult bout of insomnia, Leah stumbled upon an old letter her father had written to her. In it, he expressed regret for their strained relationship, asking for forgiveness she'd never granted. The letter became a mirror, reflecting the pain she'd buried. That night, Leah resolved to stop running. She sought therapy, confronting the emotions she'd long suppressed. Over time, she began to see her father not as the source of her pain, but as a flawed human doing the best he could. The act of facing her pain brought understanding, and with it, healing. Leah's story illustrates a profound truth. Pain, when acknowledged, can transform from a burden into a bridge, connecting us to deeper self-awareness and compassion. Pain lingers when ignored because its purpose is unmet. Imagine a child tugging at your sleeve to get your attention. Ignoring the child doesn't make them disappear, it makes them tug harder. Pain works the same way, intensifying until we address its root cause. But how do we begin to listen to pain when our instincts scream to avoid it? The first step is to ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? Lessons hidden in pain. Pain, though unwelcome, is a messenger, pointing us toward truths we might otherwise overlook. 1. Self-awareness. Pain acts as a spotlight, illumining the shadows in our lives. It draws attention to the toxic relationships we tolerate, the unfulfilled dreams we've set aside, or the wounds we've left to fester. In its presence, we are called to reflect and confront what needs our care. 2. Empathy. To feel pain is to touch the edges of our shared humanity. It softens the heart, allowing us to understand and support others in ways only those who have suffered can. Pain bridges the gap between individuals, reminding us that we are never truly alone in our struggles. 3. Resilience. Pain is both a test and a teacher. By moving through it, we discover reserves of strength we didn't know we had. It proves to us that we are not defined by hardship, but by how we rise in its aftermath. Pain shapes us, not as a sculptor chisels stone, but as fire tempers steel, building fortitude for the road ahead. Practical steps to embrace pain. 1. Name it. When pain arises, name it. Is it grief, anger, fear, or shame? Naming your pain gives it form, making it less overwhelming. 2. Feel it. Allow yourself to sit with your pain without judgment. Journaling or meditation can help you process the emotions. 3. Seek its message. Ask, what is this pain teaching me? Perhaps it's urging you to set boundaries, pursue healing, or let go of the past. 4. Share it. Opening up to a trusted friend, therapist, or support group can ease the burden and offer new perspectives. What lessons does pain reveal when we stop running from it? The answer is found in the act of facing it. Pain is not just a sensation or emotion. It's a messenger. It calls us to grow, to heal, and to become more than we were before. Like fire refining gold, pain burns away illusions, revealing the truth of who we are. It demands courage, yes, but it also rewards us with transformation, and in that transformation, we find the wisdom to navigate life's challenges with grace. So the next time pain knocks on your door, resist the urge to slam it shut. Open the door instead, inviting it in as an unwelcome but necessary guest. Trust that even in pain, all is well, not because it is easy, but because it is meaningful. Chapter 6. The Freedom of Letting Go. What do we truly gain when we let go of what we fear to lose? Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. This is the paradox of attachment. The more we cling to something, a relationship, a goal, a version of ourselves, the more it eludes us. Letting go feels like a risk, but what if it's the only way to truly hold on to what matters? Letting go is not about apathy or defeat. It's about release, a liberation from the weight of expectations, fears, and attachments that no longer serve us. In letting go, we don't lose control, we gain freedom. Consider Maya, a talented artist whose career was flourishing. She poured her heart into every painting, winning accolades and gaining a loyal following. But as her success grew, so did her fear of failure. She became consumed by perfectionism, scrutinizing every brushstroke and rejecting anything that didn't meet her impossible standards. Eventually, Maya stopped painting altogether. The joy she once found in her art was replaced by anxiety. It wasn't the fear of failure that paralyzed her. It was her refusal to let go of the need for perfection. One day, in a moment of frustration, Maya splattered paint across a blank canvas. There was no plan, no pressure, just raw emotion. To her surprise, the chaotic strokes formed something beautiful. That piece, born from spontaneity and release, became one of her most celebrated works. Maya's story reveals a profound truth: the things we cling to most tightly often stifle us. Letting go isn't about giving up, it's about creating space for something new. Letting go is hard because it challenges our sense of identity and security. We attach ourselves to people, possessions, and goals, believing they define us. When we're asked to release them, it feels like a part of us is being torn away. Psychologists call this loss aversion, our tendency to fear losing something more than we value gaining something new. But this fear, while natural, often keeps us stuck. By clinging to what's familiar, we miss opportunities for growth and transformation. Think of the wind carrying a dandelion's seeds. The plant doesn't resist the wind. It releases its seeds, trusting they will find fertile ground. What if we approached life the same way? Instead of holding on tightly, we could release our attachments, trusting that life will unfold as it should. Release doesn't mean indifference. It means loosening the grip of fear and control, allowing room for possibility. This mindset shift transforms loss into liberation, fear into trust, and scarcity into abundance. Letting go doesn't diminish us, it expands us. Here's what we gain when we release what we fear to lose. 1. Clarity. Releasing attachment clears the mental and emotional clutter, revealing what truly matters. 2. Peace. Letting go reduces anxiety and creates an inner calm, free from the need to control outcomes. 3. Creativity. By loosening the grip of perfectionism, we open ourselves to new ideas and possibilities. Practical steps to let go. 1. Identify attachments. Reflect on areas of your life where you feel stuck or fearful. What are you holding on to and why? 2. Question the fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I let this go? Often, the fear is less catastrophic than it seems. 3. Practice small releases. Start with something manageable, like decluttering a drawer or saying no to a minor obligation. 4. Embrace trust. Replace the fear of loss with the belief that letting go creates space for growth. Visualize the dandelion seeds, trusting the wind. What do we truly gain when we let go of what we fear to lose? The answer lies in the freedom that follows. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it's an act of courage. It requires us to trust in the flow of life, even when it feels uncertain. The tighter we cling, the more we risk losing what truly matters: our peace, our joy, our sense of self. But when we release our grip, we find that life has a way of filling the empty spaces with something greater. So, let go, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Trust that even in the release, all is well, not because you've secured the outcome, but because you've embraced the journey. Chapter 7. The Symphony of Relationships. What if every relationship, good or bad, is a part of your growth? Think of a symphony. Each instrument, from the bold brass to the soft strings, plays a unique role. Some produce melodies that lift your spirit. Others create dissonance that challenges your ear. Yet, when all the notes come together, they form a composition greater than the sum of its parts. Relationships, too, are a symphony, complex, unpredictable, and profoundly impactful. From friendships to romances, family bonds to fleeting connections, our relationships shape who we are. Even the most painful encounters leave behind echoes that influence how we see ourselves and the world. But what if every relationship, no matter how harmonious or discordant, is essential to our growth? In the story of your life, relationships are the cast. Some people are your mentors, offering guidance and wisdom. Others are mirrors, reflecting your strengths and insecurities. And then there are the challengers, the ones who test your patience, your boundaries, and your ability to forgive. Consider Ravi, a young entrepreneur who built his company with his best friend, Arjun. For years, their partnership thrived, but as the business grew, so did tensions. Arjun's conservative approach clashed with Ravi's bold vision, leading to heated arguments and eventually a painful split. At first, Ravi felt betrayed. He blamed Arjun for holding him back and resented the loss of their friendship. But over time, Ravi began to see the lessons hidden in their conflict. Arjun's cautious nature had balanced Ravi's risk-taking, preventing costly mistakes. Their partnership, though imperfect, had been a catalyst for growth, and their breakup taught Ravi the importance of clear communication and mutual respect. Ravi's story illustrates an important truth. Relationships are not meant to be flawless. They are meant to teach. The people we encounter, whether they stay for a season or a lifetime, leave behind lessons that shape our journey. Of course, not all relationships feel like gifts. Some bring heartbreak, betrayal, or unresolved conflict. It's tempting to label these connections as failures, but even pain has its purpose. Think of the relationships that have hurt you most. What did they reveal about your boundaries, values, or vulnerabilities? Perhaps they taught you the importance of self-worth, or showed you the kind of love you truly deserve. Painful relationships often act as catalysts, pushing us to grow in ways comfort never could. Healthy relationships require intention and effort. Like a symphony, they thrive on harmony, balance, and mutual understanding. Here are 3 principles for nurturing meaningful connections. 1. Listen deeply. True listening is more than hearing words. It's understanding emotions. When you listen with empathy, you validate the other person's experience. 2. Communicate clearly. Misunderstandings often stem from unspoken expectations. Honest, compassionate communication builds trust and clarity. 3. Respect boundaries. Every relationship needs boundaries to thrive. They protect individuality while fostering mutual respect. The impact of your relationships extends beyond the individuals involved. Like ripples in a pond, the love, kindness, and wisdom you share with one person often influence others in ways you may never see. Take, for instance, the story of a teacher who encouraged a struggling student to pursue their passion. That student grew up to become a scientist, whose work saved countless lives. The teacher may never know the full extent of their influence, but the ripple effect of their encouragement changed the world. Practical steps to embrace the symphony. 1. Reflect on roles. Consider the key relationships in your life. What role does each person play? Mentor, mirror, challenger? 2. Seek lessons. Reflect on both positive and painful relationships. What have they taught you about yourself and others? 3. Foster harmony. Invest in relationships that uplift you and set boundaries with those that drain you. What if every relationship, good or bad, is a part of your growth? The answer lies in the symphony they create. Each person you meet contributes a unique note to your life's composition. Some bring joy, others bring challenges, but all bring value. Even discordant relationships have their place, teaching lessons that harmony cannot. When you embrace the full spectrum of connections, you begin to see the beauty in the bigger picture. And, as the symphony of your relationships unfolds, remember, all is well, not because every note is perfect, but because every note has its purpose. Chapter 8. The Whisper of All Is Well. How can the simple phrase, all is well, transform your life for good? Life is rarely quiet. It hums with the noise of deadlines, relationships, ambitions, and fears. In the middle of this whirlwind, finding stillness can feel impossible. Yet sometimes, a simple truth breaks through the noise, a whisper that reminds us, all is well. This phrase is not a denial of life's challenges. It doesn't promise that everything will always go as planned or that pain will never touch you. Instead, it offers a shift in perspective, a way of seeing the chaos not as a storm to fear, but as a rhythm to embrace. Why a whisper? Because whispers compel us to lean in, to listen closely. In the same way, the philosophy of all is well invites quiet reflection rather than loud declarations. It's not about ignoring problems, but finding peace in their midst. Take Aaron, a firefighter who spent years battling not just flames, but the weight of his mind. He carried the burden of lives lost, replaying decisions he thought he could have made differently. The guilt and anxiety consumed him, leading to sleepless nights and a growing sense of hopelessness. During a counseling session, Aaron's therapist introduced the idea of all is well. At first it felt hollow, even insulting. How could everything be well when he had witnessed so much suffering? But over time, Aaron began to understand. The phrase wasn't asking him to forget the past or dismiss the pain. It was inviting him to accept that life, in all its complexity, was unfolding as it should. Slowly, Aaron learned to breathe through the chaos. Each time anxiety surfaced, he whispered, "All is well." It became a mantra, grounding him in the present and reminding him that while he couldn't control the past or future, he could find peace in the now. The phrase all is well is deceptively simple but profoundly powerful. It aligns with two key psychological principles. 1. Acceptance. By acknowledging life as it is, without resisting or clinging to it, we reduce suffering. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It means choosing peace over resistance. 2. Mindfulness. The phrase anchors us in the present moment. It reminds us that even amid uncertainty, this moment holds something to be grateful for. Believing that all is well requires courage. It asks us to trust in life's unfolding, even when we don't understand it. This trust is not blind faith. It's a conscious decision to see the bigger picture, to believe that every experience, joyful or painful, has its place. Think of a tapestry. Up close, the threads may seem chaotic, their patterns unclear. But when you step back, the design comes into view. Life, too, is a tapestry, woven with moments that may not make sense in isolation, but form a meaningful whole. How can you make this philosophy more than just words? Here are 3 practices to help. 1. Morning mantra. Begin each day by repeating all is well as you take 3 deep breaths. Let it set the tone for your day. 2. Pause and reflect. When stress arises, pause and ask yourself, what is well in this moment? This practice shifts your focus from fear to gratitude. 3. End of day reflection. Before bed, write down 3 moments from the day that affirm the truth of all is well, even in small ways. When you live with the mindset that all is well, you create a ripple effect. Your calm becomes contagious, inspiring those around you to find their own peace. You stop reacting from fear or frustration, and instead, respond with grace and clarity. This doesn't mean life will be free of challenges, but it does mean you'll face those challenges with a deeper sense of resilience and trust. How can the simple phrase, all is well, transform your life for good? The answer lies in its power to reframe your perspective. It's not a magic spell to eliminate hardship, but a reminder that even in chaos, there is balance. Even in loss, there is growth. The whisper of all is well invites you to see life as it truly is, imperfect, unpredictable, and yet profoundly meaningful. When you embrace this truth, you don't just survive life, you live it fully and courageously. So, carry this whisper with you. Let it guide you through storms and still waters alike. And remember, all is well, not because life is without pain, but because within every moment lies the possibility of peace. Take care and be well.